Welcome, craft beer friends. We are here on location at BarrieHaus in Ybor City, or Tampa, Florida, with Jim and Brittney Barrie. Guys, I appreciate you guys coming out to chat with us today and talk to us about the Dog Days of Summer beer release, the Dog Days Lager, which is what we have in our glasses here, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
We had to pull Jim off of the roast, off the brew.
Well, how dare I miss on
Yep.
that? But, so we're going to go ahead and just jump right into it because this is a delicious beer. But what was, for you guys, what was the inspiration behind doing this beer?
It was, do you mean the recipe or do you mean the whole Dog
Both.
Days?
I'll get to that part.
I'll do the
Yes.
recipe part.
Yeah, you do the recipe part.
I'll let Brittney talk about Dog Days in general.
Okay. First, okay, so Dog Days, we've done it, I think this is our third year, and we pair up with a local rescue, put them on the can as well, and give donations to them. But also it's a chance for our friends in the community to have their dog on a beer can label, on our beer can label. And we think it's a really fun thing for our guests, but also for us. A lot of our dogs are on there as well, and we feel particularly drawn to charities that are related to dogs or kids. So kind of it works within the BarrieHaus, like our morals and values, if you will. And people get really excited about it. So it's a lot of fun to see, like they get to see their dog on a can. It's printed for everyone to see. So this year we've had an outstanding number of dogs. I think we had 82 maybe on the cans. We transitioned from a 4-pack to a 6-pack to accommodate them, and we make them so that their dog's pictures are big enough so you can actually see it. But we do a release party. July 13th is our release party this year, and we'll welcome all the dogs back, and we'll do like some pool parties and some local vendors, and also release this delicious beer.
Well, I know this is my second year joining you guys,
Yep.
not for the release party, but for having our dogs on the cans. Where'd this idea come from?
We definitely wanted to make the beer approachable for everyone, right? And we kind of wanted to do something new, which is pretty unusual for us to do.
Okay.
to do a new beer. And so it was pretty much a collaborative effort of our team. I believe our taproom manager Beth said Amber Rice Lager out loud, and then we just started rolling with it. I love the idea, and so we wanted to have a little bit of malt character up front, but still dry and crisp. So there's 20% rice in the beer to help dry it out, and there's a little bit of rice character in it that's super clean and very easy to drink. It's July after all, so
it's starting to get warm.
The final ABV is around 4.5%, I think.
Okay,
but there's still interesting. There's some malty, some toasty involved in the malt bill.
So you guys, this is definitely a hang out on the beach, go for a boat ride, lawnmower beer, if you will, too.
Like a little bit of an amped up Yingling.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. And it's just delicious too. But I love the fact that it is not like super sweet.
No,
and then there is that dryness to it where you can drink a couple of them and not just be like, okay, that's been a little too much. But and at 4%, I mean that's perfect for days like we're getting into right now too. So an amber rice lager, I have to say that'd be my first of that style.
What did you why did you use rice instead of maybe corn or another?
I prefer rice to corn adjunct wise and what it brings to the beer. Sometimes in higher amounts it can add kind of like a jasmine-y flower character, but right around where it's at 20%, I think it's just really helps lighten it out, and you don't lighten the body up, and you don't get distracted from anything else than a mix of pills and Vienna as the base, and a little bit of a crystal malt in there for a touch of sweetness. So it's just supposed to keep you interested, but keep you doing whatever you're doing while you're drinking it.
Good. And then what about as far as, I mean, I made the comment when I walked over here after I tasted, I was like, great, it's another delicious beer from BarrieHaus. So you guys have been putting out consistently just fantastic beers for you. This is what, 5 years for you guys now? 5 or 6 years?
Yep.
5 years? Yeah. Time flies, huh?
Yes, it does.
What curveballs or surprises did you get when you were brewing this one?
That's a good question. This went well. honestly.
Yeah.
Which we'd love to say that happened.
Considering we're brewing right now, and many things can go wrong. So
Yeah.
this beer, though, this went well. There weren't. It really didn't have. It was a pretty simple brew day, and fermentation went great, and it cleaned up very nicely, and it was tasting good quick. So
can't ask for
yeah,
better
no,
than
this
that.
is
All right.
this is one of the good ones.
Okay, well then, since you made that,
which is more rare than the other way, right?
Yeah, well, you made that question way too easy. What was the last hiccup that you guys had?
The last hiccup. Well, when we do decoction, we have where we'll pull grain in the kettle and go back to the mash tun. There, you're asking to have your mash stuck every time, just because how our system is designed, so that could make a 6 to 8 hour brew day, a 10-hour brew day.
Okay.
And so that's actually what the guys in the back are about to. They're about to lauder into the kettle. So we'll see if they're going to have a short day or.
Okay. Well, you were kind of hazing Kevin. Is the quote unquote new guy, at least in the back. And then it was Craig or
Greg.
Greg is back there. So as far as those guys go, like, I mean, I know you said Kevin was kind of new back there with you guys. What is Greg? What's his role here?
He's our assistant brewer, lead brewer. He does everything. He does everything that I do pretty much, and he's been with us for 3 years. Yeah, yeah. Which once again, time flies, and
it really does.
Love having him, and he's back there, sweating his ass off and getting things done. So.
Well, so as far as this event goes coming up, I mean, it's coming up on July 13th. You're going to be releasing the beer. You even said, did I hear you say you were going to have some pools out there too?
Yeah. So when we bring the dogs the first time, it's utter chaos, which your dogs are very well behaved. And I recognized that as soon as we saw them again, because it's Gromit. Yeah.
Oh, well, we've got Violet and Cajun.
And Cajun. And so they're just like, very well behaved. They just kind of prance into the little back, and it's generally chaos because there's 20 to 40 dogs in the beer garden at the same time, and then you bring them back one at a time to take for their photo shoot, and they may or may not relax or sit down or smile. So I remembered your dogs right away because they did. And so we'll welcome the dogs back, have a couple of kiddie pools for the dogs to splash around if they want to. We'll have a couple of local vendors that sell dog related products. The Zoom room from just down the street is going to come. So just kind of making it a fun day. Pretty low stress if people want to bring their dogs or not. But the big exciting thing is releasing the beer, and the dog owners get to see their dog on the can.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the poster from last year and the photos are hanging up in my office at work.
That's so
cool. People ask us about it all the time. They're like, what is that? And I'm like, my dog's run a beer label. No big deal. And they're like, how did you do that? I was like, it's because of the training. And they're like, oh, sign us up.
Yeah.
I guess we should
get this opportunity.
Get into how our dog was. But okay.
Our dog was okay. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. What is your dog's name?
Jasper.
Yeah. Okay.
He's a rescue, Florida brown dog. But he basically, it seemed like he was about to have a heat stroke because he's so excited.
Yeah.
Like, gotta bring him in, or like gotta get him out, and he's we hardly ever on a leash, so that's I'm sure
we live on some property, and so he's hardly ever on a leash.
If I did, they'd never be on a leash.
That's fine, but yeah.
Well, I'll give you a little insider information. My big dog, my shepherd, he's hardly ever on a leash unless I have to be. It's not the best on leash, but it's nice to get him on there and practice with it. And then it's, once he gets into the routine of things, he's like, oh yeah, I remember what I'm supposed to do now. So it's not, if your dogs are just off leash all the time, then I mean, if it works, then
it works.
Yeah. We'll take your tips.
Okay.
For Jasper.
Yeah. Well, how old is Jasper?
2.
Okay, so you're fairly young.
Well, he showed up at our house. So we lived on a long driveway, and he was there, and dogs don't just wander down to our property. And so he had a collar on, so somebody must have dumped him, and we don't know how old he was, but he's probably a year-ish old. Oh, he's got to go. We might have him for 2 years.
Let's call him 3.
All right,
make it easy.
3.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, hey, at least
Yeah.
he's got a great house, a great home to live in now.
We're
I
suckers.
hope you guys
Yeah.
spoil the hell out of him.
Yes.
Okay. He's got a page for suckers. Yeah, that sounds familiar. It's even in our house too. They're like, "You want to sit up on the couch, buddy? Okay, you want to." So, as far as your beers go, guys, you guys have brewed dozens and dozens of beers. What's been your favorites?
Tampa Export's my baby. Just opened with that beer.
What should be? It's probably one of my
Thank you.
favorites too.
Thank you. It's our main flagship in distribution. It's really balanced. It has malt, the hops and the malt are very balanced, but still easy to drink, even though it's a little bit higher ABV. It normally clocks in about like 5.8%.
Okay.
But that allows it to have a little bit more body, a little bit more character than a Pils or a Helles. And there's no one was really making that kind of style around here, so it fit very well into the scene, I think, when we came out with it. But yeah, that's my favorite. Still is.
I always gravitate towards the Dunkel. So I just love a good like brown or Dunkel. Just because of a little bit more malt complexity that's almost sweet in nature, but it's still super dry, so you can keep drinking it, because I don't gravitate towards anything sweet, like sweet wine or anything like that. But I will say that the last Keller beer that you made, the Sound of Lagers, was one of my favorites to drink while it was on tap. Because I think it blended a little bit of the sweetness that I enjoy, but it was still a very pale, crisp beer. So that was really fun.
Very nice. Thanks.
Yeah.
Get some therapy in here too. It's nice.
I will say that the dark are Dunkel. Surprisingly,
what
a top 3 beer usually in the
It is in top 5 for sure.
Yeah.
I even put down some notes on mine. So I'm a big fan of Untapped only for tracking. I know you're both.
Why would you ever
listen? I do this. It's been about a year ago. We were interviewing Mike DeLancet from Mythic Brewing over towards Orlando, and he was like, Untapped is stupid, and I agree with him. For the general public, I agree with him, and then for you guys as being brewery owners, it sucks because somebody comes in here and goes, "You were making a joke over there, making Bud Light Day. Hey, can I get a Bud Light?" Well, we don't have. Can I have something like that? And it's going to be like this full flavor in your face. That's something that someone is not even used to. And they're going to be the people that are going to be on Untapped and going half can. But I would look at it and go, yeah, like 4.5. This is terrific for what it is, for the style and that kind of thing. And what Mike had said was, he goes, either I don't rate the beer or I give him 5 caps just to be like, hey, here, give a little boost to the brewery. But I use it for tracking beers. Hey, did I like it? Did I not like it? Is this something new to me? Is it not? But my favorites from you guys have been Maltica and then the Little Cup, which.
How about that?
Little Cub.
How about that?
Yeah.
Well, I say that because we have so many Pilsners on like during the summer that we end up coming out with a couple of extra Pilsners that we don't always have on. And so we've heavy Pilsners during the summer, and poor Lil Cup doesn't get the love that it deserves.
I will say it's also one of my favorites.
Yeah, and it's fantastic. And then there's so many other ones that are out there. I mean, Bublina, you guys won awards for that one, and I think there's still some left in my fridge at home. So I don't know what I'm doing sitting on it.
Maltica's really good.
But yeah, if you guys aren't able to get into Tampa and try some of their beers, get on a plane or have somebody send them to you, because you're missing out. Because we've even sent them out to Idaho, where my co-host is, and he's in love with you guys. He really is.
We'll have to send him some more.
He wouldn't hate that.
Yeah.
Like, he loves the Oktoberfest, because that was one of the ones I sent to him. But just, he's a big fan of more classic styles. He's the guy that's like, I'll take a black IPA, I'll take a double, I'll take, all the kind of off styles that you don't really see in the brewing industry or in a brewery too often. But he's like, anything you can send me from them, I'll take. But as far as you guys right now, like, what is in your tanks now that you're excited about?
Well, it's Oktoberfest brewing time, so that's a big deal for our brewery in the tap and in distribution as well. So we have 100 barrels of Oktoberfest back there.
Yeah, so we have to send it out to distribution much earlier than it's actually on tap, right? So it gets to the distributor in time for it to get to the bars and restaurants to sell during their Oktoberfesty seasons. So right now that's the big brews that are in. Usually it's Tampa export, and currently it's Martin filling the big tanks.
Spectrum.
Mhm.
As we speak, Bud Light is being brewed, which is our 10 plate.
You said Bub.
Bud
Yes,
Light.
yes.
Okay. Bud Light.
Very
So
nice.
Bublina Light.
Okay.
And
Bublina Light. So that's getting brewed as we speak, and that's a 10 plate of Czech pills that was a pretty big hit last year, and we're excited to bring that back. It normally ends up ABV wise at like 3.8%.
Oh,
so
perfect.
So it's still has a lot of flavor, but it's super light.
So when you guys are picking out beers to brew, obviously for seasonal stuff like Oktoberfest and Martins and stuff like that, and the calendar is going to dictate what you guys brew. But what about the other things that you guys put out? Do you guys pick those because you're like, I haven't had this in a while. Let's put a batch of that on and see what it does.
Yeah, we're almost at the point where the annual production calendar is set. We have a little bit of wiggle room.
We do.
And normally we save that for collabs or like beers that we can change, such as Dog Days.
This one was one of those,
Yeah,
exactly,
okay,
because Dog Days in the last couple of years has been a beer that we like, but not something that we're set on. And so we wanted to play with the recipe a little bit this year, and so that's what this beer is, was kind of like, hey, let's do something fun that we want to try. We haven't before. And because we don't have as much room in our annual schedule anymore.
It's a good problem.
Because like some of our Hellas, like we traditionally brew that, like we started brewing it once a year, then we kind of brewed it a couple more times more often because other people were interested in it and was selling really well. And now it's almost a full-time beer. Like if we don't have Hellas on, like people will drink Hellas all the time. If we don't have it on, like
that's a relatively new. For some reason, people weren't purchasing it. Probably about a year ago, it's really started to pick up steam, I'd say, in the last year or so, that actual beer. And now it's almost flagship status. I would say we're trying to keep on all the time. So,
well, I mean, you guys have probably also seen it too. Like that is almost a trend that you're going to see through the craft world where, people are like, I want the best and the biggest and most bitter IPAs you can produce. And then it shifts into, well, let's get all the adjunct stouts. And then, what we've been talking about over the last couple of years so far has been like, I just want some beer flavored beer.
Yeah.
Like palates are just wrecked with all the either, the big fluffy adjuncts or the super hoppy beers. And they're just like, oh, you mean there's something I can sit and enjoy and have 2 or 3 of and not just either have a wrecked gut or my palate is destroyed, and you can sit and have beers and enjoy them based on what they are supposed to be.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you can enjoy them. Like you don't have to, it's not like if you enjoy a beer, you don't have to always go, well, what else do you have? Maybe I want to try something that's another wild flavor. Like, no, I'll have another one of these. And enjoy the conversation, enjoy who you're with, that kind of thing. That's the purpose of these beers.
Yeah, most definitely. Well, as far as your recipes and stuff go, where do those come from? All in the brain there.
Well, you read a lot.
Yeah.
Must be a crazy place in there.
It's crazy. To do this?
No, there's beer brewing, and then there's smoking meat, and then there's a little bit of ranching, and then about football. It's about
if it's not dog related in my world, it's beer related, and then whatever free time shows up after that. So I totally get that. So
no, it's an accumulation of knowledge, right? You talk with a bunch of people in the industry, that always helps. And there's like-minded breweries that are around the country, and so you talk with those guys, and you read German textbooks, and you read all this old stuff, and you kind of test it out on your system, and then you adjust. And if that doesn't work, then you do go your own way, and whatever works for you, it's the end result that matters, So I think it's very system dependent. What I'm doing here might not work at a brewery 1 mile down the road.
Okay, makes good sense. Well,
once you get past obviously clean, sanitary, and all the basics, but
what were you guys doing before you got into brewing beer for a living?
Oh, yes. Oh, I was naturally a lawyer.
No, really?
Yeah.
What kind of law were you studying?
Real estate planning.
All right. What about you, Brittany?
I'm a physical therapist.
Okay.
Yeah, doctor of physical therapy. I was a professor and practiced.
Oh, wow. That was a hell of a shift.
So
Yeah,
a little bit of a
a little
shift.
bit of a shift.
I've always been in hospitality in one way or another. And so that wasn't so off the radar for me. Both my parents were in hospitality, and I did a lot of those jobs growing up. Um, I would say for Jim, it was more of a shift, but he had moved from home brewing to working at a brewery, learning under a lot of very intelligent people to this.
Okay.
So.
I actually remember right before you guys opened up officially, there was, from what I understood, because I was just happening to walk through Ybor, I think I was on my way to a Lightning game or something. And we bumped into this group of people. And I guess it was like a friends and family kind of night, or maybe a hospitality night, like a soft opening kind of thing. And we just happened to bump into this group of people. And I was like, they were talking about, oh, we're heading over to this brewery. I was like, which one? Coppertail's all the way down there. I don't even know if Zydeco was here yet.
They were
They were here, yeah.
They were here about a year plus before we were.
But we were over at the streetcar stop, like right down the
Yeah.
street here. And I was like, what brewery are you going to? And they were like, oh, it's an all lager brewery. It's called BarrieHaus. And I was like, I thought I was plugged into the
Take
Tampa
me
beer
there.
scene. I was like, man, I didn't even know that existed yet.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then it was all downward spiral on it for us from there.
Yes.
Well, cool guys. Well, as with us, you know, I'd love to get a little more in depth with you guys. I'd love maybe even save that for a future episode where we can get a little more in depth. But as for us as podcasters, local beer advocates, is there anything that Tap the Craft and our listeners can do for you guys to kind of help push BarrieHaus further along? Like, is there anything that we could do for you guys?
I think that honestly, the most important thing for us is connecting with like-minded individuals in the community. We have a lot of friends and acquaintances, but we have a lot of people that enjoy beer, and beer is our number one. Hospitality is our number 1.1, if you will. So we enjoy creating a space where people can enjoy each other. We enjoy creating a product that you can have multiples of, that you can, it's easy, it's fun. We have a huge tap list, but really just creating a connection piece. So bring your friends and family here, if you have a corporate event that you don't want to go to another local boring restaurant, like we're the place for that. We really are a very easygoing and an excellent connector.
Okay. So you guys will do corporate events and stuff in here too?
Yeah. We do a lot of private parties. We do our own catering. It's easy. Someone can come in and kind of set it and forget it. So
nice.
Done a private Oktoberfest.
We've done a couple of private Oktoberfests for big groups. Yeah.
Good to know. It's good to know. Yeah, because I was just about to ask you too, like what do you guys think is something that people should know about BarrieHaus that they might not know? That was for me. I didn't know you guys did corporate events.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big one for us.
Well, what do you think something else is?
Something else.
Probably something on the beer side. Interesting. I always find it interesting that he's constantly reading textbooks, like German textbooks that have been translated into English. And so here's something interesting, I think, is the United States, our brewers kind of grew up homebrewing.
Okay.
Right? So back when homebrewing became legal, back in the 78, something around that time frame, right? Somewhere in there. So we all were home brewers historically that grew into wanting to open our own breweries, and many people apprenticed under other breweries. But over in Germany and in Belgium, they had monasteries that these people have been brewing for hundreds and hundreds of years. And so brewers over in Germany go to brewing school, and they learn from the very get-go of like all of the science and all of the art behind brewing. And that is not the approach that many breweries here take. We have we started in our bathtub, and then we built it up to another system, and then we built it bigger and learned along the way. So not saying one is better than the other, but there are a lot of pieces of brewing knowledge that home brewers don't know, and it hasn't been passed down from one person to another. So when he's reading about all these different
Germans
techniques,
don't also share information. U.S.
Well, when their great grandfather put that recipe together, they're like, you
more,
keep it in the family and don't. Yeah.
So he's been doing a lot of just experimenting, like using sour good. Well, what is sour good, and how do you create it, and how do you store it, and how do you use it in your beer, and why would you use it in your beer? Spunding, not something that everyone is doing, but it works really well for us. So a lot of these other techniques that you
at least experiment. Yes.
Yeah. I don't know. Is there one of those that you would want to talk about, or that is interesting to you?
What's interesting to you?
That's my questions.
That's my question.
No, and that's the thing. Like, so as far as what we've seen, like we've been able to sit down and chat with breweries from all over the country, whether we were speaking to folks over in Washington or North Carolina, or even here locally, is that a lot of times there are breweries, especially the smaller ones, they're doing these little tiny things that make a huge difference when it comes down to the quality of the beer or the experience they're trying to show for their customers and their guests. And a lot of times it could be something like sour good.
Yeah.
And I didn't know about that word until 3 minutes ago.
Kreuzening,
right?
Another one.
Right.
Yeah. All right.
Right. So and we even had a conversation a couple of episodes ago, about a month or so ago, about decoction. Like, we didn't know a whole lot about it, so we dug into it a little bit and kind of had a little education seminar on it on an episode.
Sure.
Right. So is there something about how you guys brew, or the steps, maybe the extra steps you guys take to make sure your beer is quality or to fit what you're looking for?
I think the key to lager beer is every step, all 1,000 steps to get there. Everyone has to be done right, or else the final product you're going to be able to tell. Okay. So that's a little bit different than other beers that are have a lot of heavy flavors or sweetness or hops. You can kind of cover them up a little bit, but when the all your tasting is malt, and
you can't hide stuff in lagers, really
hide anything. Starts with reverse osmosis water.
Yeah, for instance, water sucks, so we start with RO. I mean,
that makes a huge difference.
That makes huge, absolutely.
Yep. And then do you guys add stuff?
And we add stuff back. Yep. But that makes a huge difference in itself. Our Czech Pils Bublina wouldn't be what it is if we were using Tampa water.
Well, good. I'm glad you guys take that step, because again, I think I've said this for all the beers
with that, right? So that's how we found out. It's like, it's just
and a lot of us through trial and error, right? I mean, we've learned along the way, and I think we're making more quality beers than we were 2 years ago, even a year ago. I would hope so. Every beer to be better, and we're trying to make the best lager beer possible. So if we take in new information, we might try something out, and if we think it actually helps the beer and we can actually do it consistently, then we'll go ahead and do it.
That's fantastic. And it's those little things, like starting with the RO water, or just going, Tampa public water just kind of sucks. And it's water's different everywhere, and just taking that time to break it down and go, all right, let's start from absolute blank water.
Yep.
And then we can start adding stuff back into it as we need to. So that's awesome. Well, guys, as far as questions and stuff go, this has been a great time sitting down chatting with you guys, poking around in the brewery a little bit while you guys were getting squared away to come out and chat with us.
Peek of this beer.
Well, I'm looking forward to picking up my cans and stuff in a couple of weeks. But we'd love to have you guys on a future episode as far as getting into history and brewery for you guys, because that's really what a lot of what we do is we call it our people's craft beer journey, because we are an educational podcast, right? So we'll talk about what some people might look at and go, that's just overkill. Who cares about decoction? Well, you do. right?
Yep.
Right. You guys do. And then the people that drink your beer now know why you should care about it. Okay.
And you can taste it, right?
yeah.
And if you look for it, you can taste it and you'll understand a little bit more about how do you describe what you're tasting.
Mhm.
You know, just like with food, it's like, well, how do I describe what I'm tasting? Well, you have to practice and then get exposed to those terms too. So I think that decoction does add body, mouthfeel, that other thing.
So what you're saying, Brittany, is that in order to practice, you have to drink more beer.
It's kind of what I'm
It's a tough business.
Yeah, it's a tough gig. Actually, when I woke up this morning, I told my girlfriend, I was like, I got to go drink beer for breakfast, and then I'll go train dogs.
saying.
But no, guys, thank you very much for the time, for the beer.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
sitting down with us. And then, guys, we'll be back with you guys in a couple of weeks on our next episode. Cheers.
Cheers. Prost.
Gross.